Hey guys, welcome back to the Commonwealth of Fallout 4. Last time we were making a farm to service this, the Minutemen-backed city on Spectacle Island, and you can see I have been busy. I have been creating a Far Harbor style forest on the far side of the island, I guess. And I did finish all the interiors of the city, something I hadn't done last time. I'll probably do a final tour of the entire island, maybe dedicate a video for that, so we can go check out the interiors then. And I said in previous videos that I was going to put the fishing village off in the distance there towards the Boston area, but I've decided to move it to this side, so I'm going to put it down there, kind of on the land, but also a little bit into the sea. So with the fishing village, of course, we're going to have lots of boats going in and out, going to the ocean and coming back to the island. So we need to have some way to find their way home. And I found this little spot that I'm going to put a lighthouse. It's going to be a very janky DIY style lighthouse. And fun little project. I'm probably going to record most of the whole process for you. So this video might be kind of longer than usual. But anyway, I've been rambling on a little bit. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to go basically right to the end of my mod list here. And we are going to go for the Kuro mod. Great little mod here. And I'm going to go structural. Let me see here. What have we got? Let's go for junk walls. And I'm going to go all the way to the end. You can see these are kind of retextures of vanilla style pieces, but then they also have these pieces which are kind of, I think they've sort of separated the geometry to sort of give you the frames, and this is the one I'm after. So I'm going to chuck one of these over here. Let's just see how it looks. Just trying to line it up a little bit better on the island. I don't know if this is an island. Kind of spit. I don't know. And I'm going to chuck another one on the top here. So let's go for number 2. Something like that. I don't think they snap, so I'm going to have to freehand it like that. So that's probably as high as I'm going to go. I will jump out of this mod and go to my wooden assets. I'm just going to add a couple of beams. Got some supports over here. I just want to try, it looks a little bit funny having these kind of diagonal pieces just ending like that. So I'm just going to quickly add some pieces here to sort of give the impression that they are purposeful. Let's just turn the snapping off because I'm going to freehand this. I find, I've said this before, but I find freehanding when I build, especially this kind of starter structure, just is a lot easier than spending a long time sort of trying to snap and get it all perfect. So I'm just going to do that, quite simple, just to sort of give you the impression that the diagonal pieces actually have a purpose there going down to that section. Let's maybe focus on, we'll put some stones at the bottom so it's not just floating there. So I'm going to go to the CVC Dead Wastelands mod. Awesome mod here. And we're going to go to decorations and go to space deco. Where are ye? Here we go. I have so many mods that it takes a little while for the icons to sort of pop up. And we're going to go to external. We have these cinder blocks. I just want something a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to go for, if we go to the end here, we got some kind of big blocks somewhere. Yeah, here we go. So I'm just going to put a bunch of these down, and I kind of want to do them a little bit random to give the impression that these are basically just sourced from somewhere in the Commonwealth, and they just sort of dumped them here and kind of haphazardly put them around the place for this purpose. I don't want to make them too perfect, but I will maybe try and make them go the same direction if I can. And I don't want that sort of floating effect, so let's try and get rid of that. Like that. Okay. I might just, I got one missing here as well. Perfect. Alrighty, so of course we're going to have some kind of boardwalk or something crossing there and maybe connect up to there. I have purposefully left, we got a bit of Far Harbour fog, purposely kind of made clearings from our entranceways into the city here, just to give access to certain points. I have the same over here with our fishing village, which is going to be around here. We have another walkway, where is it? Over here. So I'll probably put more buildings here as well, and then just have them sort of going out into the sea here. So again, in the planning stages, but we're going to focus on this guy over here for right now. Okay, and we're going to jump back into the Kuro mod. There's just, I have to figure out exactly where it is. Miscellaneous, I think. There's just a couple of round pieces that I'm going to use for reference. And just, we're looking for something to guide kind of a circular shape. Is that a little bit too big there? And I might use it for a roof as well. We had some pieces there. Okay, so this is kind of what I was looking for. I'm just going to kind of roughly line it up here. And just make it a little bit bigger using the Place Everywhere mod. Okay, and let's just see if that's kind of central. Not quite. Let's just use the maybe about there. Okay, and I'm just going to let me think. This will be the roof, but I also want to construct a floor, maybe using it as a reference. I'm kind of sort of thinking on the fly here. So let's go back to structures. We're going to go to maybe the Whispers Extra Pieces mod. I believe it's Whispers. Okay, and we go over to wood. And where is our floors? Over here. I'm looking for, I think they have a triangle piece. Yes, they do. Okay. Now I have to think about this because we need a way to sort of climb up through the floor to access the space. So let me just see how this looks. So obviously it's very small. Okay. What if we start from maybe this side instead? Let's chuck that one there, trying to get it somewhat central. Okay, so I'm hoping that will be enough space to sort of put a ladder through. And let's just make this a little bit bigger. Okay, I will have to finesse that a little bit. I don't want to make it bigger than the roof though. So let's just do that. Okay. And now I'm just going to reposition it so it's not clipping and doing weird stuff like that. Okay, so I've just used the Place Everywhere mod again just to sort of move them out a little bit, just so they weren't clipping against each other. And I did get a beam from what I used down there just to fill in this gap, because we are going to have a hole in the floor to get up to this space, but I do want to have it enclosed, so that's why I've put that one down. And we're going to go back to Whispers because there is a glass asset that I want to use. So I think ordinarily in a lighthouse, the kind of upper room section where it has the light, I think they kind of are like a cylindrical shape. In this case, it's not going to be a cylinder. I guess it's going to be more of an octagonal shape here, but that is okay. I think as long as the sort of general look is kind of achieved. And then also, you know, we are going sort of for the jank, so we don't want it to look exactly perfect. Now, there are little gaps in the window here. I could shrink the floors there, or I could just slightly increase the size of the windows. I might just do it like that. So I'm just going to quickly place them down. It probably doesn't matter that much anyway, but you know, slight gaps, because I think we probably won't have a settler actually staying at the top. It'll be kind of like just a space where they can make sure things are running semi-smoothly. But yeah, we are getting some gaps there, so I might increase just ever so slightly some of the sizing. And I'm not so concerned with the heights, because we are just going to put that thing on the top, so it's kind of doesn't have to be too accurate. But some of these, the frames are not quite sticking out of the wood. That one is quite quite a big gap on that one. Okay, I am actually kind of distracted by how those don't line up, so maybe I do need to kind of move them into rough positions. I think we're okay though. Alrighty, so I'm just going to grab the top. I might just do that last, because I want to do the internal pieces of that room. So let's just raise that one up. Maybe one more to have some space. So you can see we do have a kind of a round-ish room, and we do have space to go through, but then I just realized that this beam is in the way. So we're going to have to do a quick fix and rotate this guy. It shouldn't matter too much, I don't think, because we are going to be covering it up anyway. At least most of it. Oh, we're way off. Ah, now I see the problem here. It looks to me like one side is longer than the other. So we're going to have to do the same with this guy down here as well. And this is going to be somewhat troublesome, I think. It's just one of those things when you're using assets that you're not totally familiar with. But we can kind of roughly put it there, and let's just reline these up. Oh, turn off the snap. Something like that, as long as it doesn't look too offensive to the eyes. But I will just bring it down a little. Oh goodness, I forgot that I had my step change way too high. Okay, just so it wasn't poking through the floor there. I might add some extra little bits to make it look more secure, and to be honest, I think I might have to move that over because it doesn't look quite in the middle there. Again, I'm not trying to go for perfection, but I just want to get sort of a general kind of symmetry if I can. And let's just, again, this one needs to move over, I think, that way. Okay, and we're going to fix these down here. Okay, as far as fixing issues like this one's not too bad. I have restarted whole projects because something is off. Okay, so I think we are pretty good there. Let's just see. I'm just sort of eyeing it out. Yeah, I think that positioning's okay. So that guy will sit like that on the top there, but we're not quite finished with this interior just yet. Okay, and we do have access down below. Good. Okay, let's chuck in a floor. So this is going to be a small dwelling for our lighthouse person, whoever I decide to stick up here. Not that one. I want to go for something a little bit more interesting. Now, because we discovered just before that the it doesn't quite line up. Oh no, because we do need a ladder to get down to the bottom, so we can't use that either. So let's do something like this. Can I snap? Oh, that's not going to work for us because we need a gap. I'm just thinking what might work. Let's go for something a little bit different. Let's go for floorboards. Because I have a bunch of these kind of smaller pieces, it's kind of good for doing these kind of things. One there. Let's do one of these long ones. We need a smaller piece. We are clipping, but it's kind of, yeah, I'm just going to live with it. So we have a hole in the floor so that we can get up and down. We probably don't need that much space though, so I think we could, well, it depends on where we're going to put that ladder, but I think we can get away with a little bit more floor space there. So that one comes up. You know what, I might actually move that across because the ladder mod I have, I can't sort of connect them, I don't think. So I'm going to do it the other way. So we have one ladder going down to here, and then you just move over to that side and then take it down towards the floor there. The ladder is definitely not going to reach to the ground, so we'll have to do some kind of, maybe there'll be like a doorway or something here. Maybe I'll just put that down now. I will probably put walls on the side of the building because I think that does sell the kind of lighthouse look, but I might leave just that first bit open because the waves, you know, this building is not going to be made of like bricks and things that can handle, you know, a bit of punishment. It is just going to be the wood, so it does look temporary. I guess it would last a few years maybe, but yeah, the idea is if we have a storm surge or something, it'll just sort of go through here and it won't sort of blow the walls off or something. Quick save later, and let's put in some ladders. So I highly recommend that you save frequently. Obviously Bethesda games come with a bit of jank. It's kind of a given, but especially when you're using mods and building, it can not be a good time, especially if you're doing a longish kind of build and then you will lose a whole bunch of stuff if something were to go wrong. And I do actually have an autosave mod as well that just sort of adds some extra kind of save points. Okay, let me just think here. So you'd come up there. Okay, what I might do is kind of split things up. So maybe down the bottom will be storage and things, and then up here is just like a bed and maybe some kind of cooking stove or something. So if that comes that way, I'm just trying to think of the best way to do this. Maybe let's do over in the corner. Okay, put that one down so you can get up to there. Spin around. We'll have maybe possibly the stove in this corner or something, and then it's going to be tight though. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. I'll put the generator down there, I think, and just put conduits going up. Alrighty. So let's put some walls in. Now I'm going to try and avoid the sort of corrugated iron walls, because I just think that would rust way too quickly. I think the wood is probably a little bit more hearty. I do want a window though, I think. Okay, let's do the window first. So I'm going to go to this great mod called Woody's Wasteland stuff here. It's got a building. Now, the walls themselves are quite kind of, you know, you can see there's lots of gaps and stuff, which I'm not huge on, especially having, you know, having all the weather over here. I did use them quite extensively in the city, but I think the city is a little bit more sheltered, so I'm not going to use it. Now we do have beams and things in the way, but getting a bit more light in here would be good. And I will need to do some gap fillers just to get that filled in. But yeah, there's too many gaps, so I'm gonna go back to our vanilla kind of style assets. So go all the way to the end and maybe use stuff like this. I'm gonna try and hug the frame a little bit better, so let's do that. And I just want to do some kind of mixing and matching as well. So let's do maybe some of that, some of that. Might have to move that one over a little bit if I can. It's not going to let me select it. Where's my shack? There we go. Okay, now we can use some of the bigger pieces, I think. Let me just put, because I think I'll put a doorway here so that we can get to the ground. And that side's going to have another piece. So let's put this one in. I'm not sold on that. Let's put, because the issue is it's like big on one side and then skinnier on the other side. So it fits the frame here, but it doesn't fit the frame on the other side. So I'll have to work around that. Let's move that one here then. It is all over the place. Too many snapping points, I think. And let's put that guy in. And another one on the front. Let's go maybe something like that. We do have some gaps here. But hopefully our gap fillers can kind of sort those bits out. To be honest, I probably should have freehanded this just a little bit easier. Okay, and then we go back to our skinny pieces again. Okay, I'm going to freehand it. These snapping points are kind of bugging me a little bit. Concentration mode. Okay. I think we're getting close now. A couple more pieces. Yeah, let's just go reuse this type. And maybe introduce a little bit more jank. Like that. Okay, and I've got this gap filler one here. Some of these pieces might be a little bit long. Make sure that we're not reusing the same thing next to each other. Let's try a different one. And let's go for this one. Let's chuck that one there as well. Just wherever there's sunlight or light coming through. I like these plank style ones. I think the plywood type is a little bit too well, because you know it's been 200 years since the bombs fell, so it's unlikely that people are making new plywood, and the plywood pieces that make up those larger pieces are quite obvious. I have used them before, but I try to sort of use them in places that are not in your kind of field of view, if that makes sense. Like they're a little bit harder to see. You can see I did use them up there. How we're looking here. Just small gaps up here. Thankfully we're not using too many. And I apologize if you can hear the clickety clack of my keyboard. Probably need to figure out some way to mitigate that. Maybe move my mic or get a keyboard that's not so analog. I mean, I guess we do have to cover those bits up because, you know, we will have a kind of a roof that kind of overhangs, but you know, if it gets a little bit wild, then we're gonna have to figure that out. I'm not actually sure. Do I have? I've got these floorboards. I might have to make them. Might have to do some resizing. Just to. It looks a little bit funny, but. Actually, this is what I'll do. I'm going to use these floor planks because I guess it doesn't matter if they go through the ceiling there. Let's just do that instead. That kind of adds to the jank as well, which is fine by me. And let's just make sure there's no gaps. Okay, I think we are okay. So that's how we're looking so far. As I said before, yeah, just don't want to fill in that little bottom piece because I think, you know, if any larger wave came up, it would just wipe it out. So, and I just noticed I can see that light coming through. So I could probably just move those pieces, but let's just do that instead. Okay, any more light? How we're looking? Going up through. Yeah, I think we're mostly covered. So come down here and then we'll have to figure out some way to connect it to the boardwalk. But let's focus on this area over here. Oh, I better cover that up as well, because that does not please me. Let's do a smaller piece. Does that cover it? Kind of. Might just make that piece a little bit larger. If you heard a noise, that was not me tooting. That was somebody downstairs moving a chair. I swear, okay? Don't judge me. We might have to do a floor plank. I am not sold on that one. Where are we? Okay, I think we've covered the gap now. Alrighty, so we will need to find something to make our light spin. So let's figure that out. So I have a confession to make. The actual light part, the mechanism, I was initially going to show everything, but it just took way too long, so I'm going to just cut this part out and just kind of tell you how I did it. So we have our ladder that we installed before. Let's just climb up and see the monstrosity that I have created. And for you engineers out there, please just save your comments. I'm not an expert or anything. I'm just trying to make this thing work. Okay, so let's start here. I did move the ladder. I also moved the floor to be not central anymore. I'm going to move it to the side to give me more room. Of course, I need to, make it weatherproof. But this is how our light rotates. Okay, bit of a mess here. I have installed, this is from the Kuro mod. We have a metal frame that's sort of connected to the wooden frame there just to prop up this engine. We have an engine, which is actually a power producing engine. It's the CVC did Wasteland's mod. There's a small generator. This is the generator here. You can hear it running, or you might not because I don't have the volume up, but it is running and it does provide power. And we're kind of using a bevel gear, I believe they call it, setup. So the engine is driving this gear here, and that is transferring the rotational torque, I guess, perpendicular this way. So this will turn this way, and then by being connected, it's meant to be a bevel, but it's not. This one will turn this way, and that is going to go up that shaft. We have I'm pretending this is a universal joint, which allows the rotational torque to be transferred kind of in a different direction to this one up here. And you can see I've used kind of like a hanger bearing type setup, so it kind of keeps it stable. And I've just connected it with a pipe down to there. I probably should have actually connected it up to that post there. Maybe I'll add that later on. But we have another couple of bearings there to keep it kind of semi-stable. And we do have a little control panel over here just to push the button to run the engine. So the engine torque is sort of being transferred up there through this, I guess it's like a drive shaft type thing. And if we climb our next ladder to the top, a little bit hard to see, but there is a shaft going through there. These parts here are just to hold this part here in place. It's not actually part of the rotating assembly, because that shaft there goes all the way up to this disc here, and this is the only part that kind of rotates, and our light is connected to it. So yeah, basically the engine is just moving this kind of disc here, which has our light attached to it. And that's kind of how I am kind of, pretending that this thing is actually usable. I haven't actually found a mod or anything that actually allows me to just kind of spin the light itself. So if you have any ideas on that, let me know. I am using a giant CVC mod light. And if you're wondering about these pieces here, this is part of the Static Objects and Buildings mod. There is a Factions tab, and you might recognize these parts. They are from Liberty Prime. So maybe we're going to say that, post Liberty Prime, we've sort of salvaged some parts from that robot and using them here. I think they are actually to scale, except for maybe some of these, the sort of drive shaft. But anyway, the reason why I chose this light, the texture is not so great, but if I just toggle the free cam here, you can see it does produce a beam. So hence why I'm going for this particular lamp, because it does provide a beam. So at night time, again, if we change the hour here, it does kind of give you the impression that we do have a lighthouse, hence why I've gone for that one. So again, I apologize. Oh, yep, we'll toggle that and then we'll go back to our normal time. I apologize I didn't show the whole thing on camera, I guess, but as you can imagine, there was a bit of finagling and a lot of rotational kind of making sure things fit together and stuff like that. Obviously none of this stuff kind of snaps together. I have to do it all manually. So that's why I didn't want to show the whole thing, because I don't want this video to be 2 hours long or whatever. So there you have it. That's how I am kind of simulating the idea that the light does actually spin, and the engine is actually on, but this would actually be in the off position for this particular kind of, I don't know, situation, because obviously the light at the top is not moving. So initially I was going to put some kind of dwelling up here, but obviously now we have a whole bunch of machinery. So what will be going here will probably be, hopefully we can get a shelf with some gas canisters, because obviously this thing needs to be running. And this place down here, if I just slide back down, the ladder mod, I don't know if I said it, it's called climbable ladders. There's actually 2 mods called climbable ladders. I didn't know which one this was, so I just downloaded both of them, and there you go. But this lower section is going to become the lighthouse person's dwelling. So no longer at the top there, that's all going to be the light, and down here is where they're going to live. So I guess that's the next stage of our operation here. So I've just jumped back in the build menu here. You can see, if you look at the title there, Static Objects and Buildings, Factions, Brotherhood of Steel, and you can see these are the parts that I've been kind of using. So some great assets. So if you want to create something interesting, you can jump into this mod and have a look. I did actually make a giant scarab robot with some of these parts. But anyway, now that we have the light basically where we want it, and you can see it's not quite in the middle. Oops, let me see here. So the lamp shouldn't hit the sides, because obviously this is the most far forward it's going to go. And the reason why it's not center is because we actually have a beam going through right through the middle. That's why I haven't done that. And I was going to put the actual engine and everything in the center, but basically I had to do that because of that central beam. I have to kind of work around it. So, you know, it is going through the floor, but I didn't want to basically have the machinery going through the beam, so that's why it is off center. But we are pretty much finished with that, so I can put the top on now, and hopefully it's not going to cause us too much trouble. So I'm just going to use those windows just to line it up, make sure we are in the middle, and it looks like we're mostly there, maybe just slightly over this way. Again, it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but that should be enough. And you can see that we don't have to be super accurate with the height of our windows, because we are just going to clip it like that. And that's basically the outside look of it. Not the best looking lighthouse, I must say. But of course, you know, if you're going to make a kind of professional, quote unquote professional one, you'd have kind of like that tapered shape where the base is quite large and then it sort of goes up to that skinny section at the top. But just utilizing these frames, sort of, you know, building around these frames. This is a kind of, I guess it kind of looks like a tower rather than a lighthouse shape, but that's okay, because the whole idea of this thing is that it is DIY and kind of cobbled together. It's not going to look professional with proper stone masonry. So let's continue on. I'm just going to go through here. I'm not sure I can float through here. I might have to jump out of the menu and do it with the ladder. Basically, because I do want to add the fuel for this thing. So jump back in the menu. Okay, while we're here, actually, I might just adjust that that pipe there. So that pipe is actually a water pipe from the Woody's Wasteland. So let's just jump in there. Water and plumbing and pipes and valves. Let's just find a nice vertical piece. It's probably a little bit too intense. I might go for something like, do I have, that's too long, is it? It might be too long. Okay, let's just do this one, and I can probably put a couple of them together if I don't have enough. Okay, let's just chuck this one here. Okay, maybe another one. Okay, let's just see if I got a shorter one. I might have a shorter one. This one here. So just gotta match the size if I can. Don't know how big that was. Okay, I can probably go a little bit bigger. Oh, we're close. Is that gonna work for us? I think we're okay. I might just... Oh, no, I think I need to step down a little bit. Alrighty, I think that is about right. Just trying to line it up a little bit better. Okay, so that is connected to our post there. So that'll just give it a little bit extra stability, I think, to the whole mechanism. And I just hope that it doesn't wobble itself to pieces. But it's not moving anyway, so we're just going to say it works and tests fine. So let's go back to our CVC mod and let's go over to decorations and the space deco once more. And we want to go over to garage, and just in this deco section here, we'll maybe just go through here and just see what we can see, because it might be good to get some tools and stuff as well. We have this box of tools. Actually, I think that there's a little container. Okay, we got these. Let's get some of these. Just do the surface snapping. Got these tools, but I think there's a little toolbox here that might work for us. We'll put it behind the ladder, like so. And that one might be good as well. Okay, what I might do is I might just see if I can get a sneaky little shelf in here, just to put everything on. A little bit hard to see what I'm doing here. Okay. Let's go for the small one. Not so small. Okay, I just need it to do that, and then I can just move it myself manually. Okay, this is all based on the orientation of the camera, so if the camera's in an awkward position, then it's not going to quite fit. Okay, let's see. Okay, we can do that. It is a little bit kind of, you know, impeding our space over there, but I think if you could just put your hand on the button, turn it on and off, that's basically all you need to do. Okay, so we got our tools there, and we got some gas to keep that guy running. Perfect. Alrighty, so let's start doing our dwelling down the bottom, and then the last part is we got to do the exterior. Come on. I always like watching this animation. Good on ya. Alrighty, back into the build menu. I might do a little chair behind our ladder there. Something like that, and I might do a... So if we put the bed maybe on this side of the wall, because that's going to give us the most room there, and then if we scratch that... Okay, thinking out loud here. CVC mod. We're going to put a small cobbled together bed here. I think there's a smaller one, maybe with a pillow. Yep. Okay, actually let's spin that around this way. Maybe a little bit too close to the door. I think we do still have room. Yeah, we've got room to navigate the ladder. That's all good. So let's do that. Okay, we can put some kind of container here for belongings. Or we could actually put a table. I might do that. It is very cramped though. But let's do it. We'll have the door open outwards to the exterior, so it shouldn't sort of affect internal movings around. Let's go to the living room, and there is a table specifically that I am thinking of that I want. Hopefully it's not too big. Okay, I think it's going to work for us. And let's get it as tightly spaced there as possible. Okay, we can put a chair there. So we got a little bit of table space. And then I'm going to go to crafting. And there is a little kitchen that I want. Not that one. CVC, I think it is. Resources. Crafting. This is the one, just nicely compact. This one does obviously, well, I assume, uses some kind of electricity. So we're going to say that it runs off the power from the engine above. But I don't really want to run wires, to be honest. Because I don't like the look. And I'm pretty sure I can actually squeeze in a little side table there as well. Because you just need to click on the ladder and it will run the animation. So we can be a little bit sneaky. So let's get one of these guys in there as well. Okay, and we need a shelf for some belongings and food maybe. How am I going to do this? Actually, I might just do a foodie one. I think there's a smaller one, yep. Okay, I can squeeze that one in. It's pretty tight though. And we just have a little bit of space behind there. I think I got a couple of these locker types. Okay, let's just go outside where we can actually see what we're doing here. So we got that one, that one, that one. Maybe we'll stick with that one. We got weapons, probably don't need weapons. Some belongings. That one's kind of good. Yeah, I might go with this one. We got some books, you know, get bored. And let's stick that kind of in the middle. I'm thinking you probably just, maybe just tuck it behind this, the ladder, so you can kind of reach, put your arm around the ladder there and grab what you need. Okay, so we might have some space actually for some other bits and bobs as well. Okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to grab, let's stay in the CVC mode. I'm going to move away from the decorations here and just go into stores because they have a whole bunch of cool pieces of deco as well. And I think there's some shelves, yep. So I'm going to try and choose some shelves that might be applicable. So we've got kind of board games, we got this stuff. This one might work. I guess I could have just used this up in the work area maybe. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe we'll have an entertainment one. Can we squeeze it in over here? We might have to be a little bit sneaky with the sizing. Actually, we might be able to get away with it. I just need to reposition it so it's actually touching the wall. Okay. And let's grab maybe this one. I guess it's got some applicable stuff, but I'm not sure about the typewriter, if I'm honest. I guess we do have a table, so the person could clear the table and just sort of do some typewriting. But let's just maybe move them up a little bit because you might be bonking your head. Something like that. Okay, and we can do a food one as well. I think there's some food ones. Let's see what we got here. Beer bottles. We got meats. I think I got some, yeah, we got drinks as well. But let's go for one. I think, yeah, we got some, maybe this one will be good. Got the coffees. Let's actually stick it over here because I might do some pots and pans there as well. Because I think we do have one at the end here. We do. Okay, perfect. Let's move that guy over a little bit. We're kind of running out of room. And good grief, we are very tight for space here. Get that guy on the wall and get that guy on the wall too. Like so. Okay, we do have room though. Perfect. Okay, and let's just get the utensil set. And put it on the table. Okay, is that floating? No, it should be good. Alright, last little bit is we need a chair. Just a little chair. Maybe I'll choose one that looks nice. Nice and comfortable. Maybe too fancy. Let's see. Oh yeah, this one's got a bit of padding. Padding for the bum and a little bit on for the back as well. So let's get that one, and I'm just going to tuck it in under there, out of the way. So that's our dwelling, I think, but we probably need some lighting, don't we? I'm going to go to CVC. Yes, here, and resources, and just go lights, and just do one of the kind of industrial looking things. I might actually hang one of these out the front here as well, like that. And we'll just do one of these wired ones. Maybe over. Let me see here. Too close to the. I'll just put that one there. Hopefully that's enough. Maybe not. Let's just chuck in a little candle or something. So this is great. It's got a fire section as well. And we got some candles and things. Maybe we can just chuck it on top of the shelf. Oh, it's fighting. Okay, we're going to turn off the surface snap so we can do it ourselves. Like that. Okay, I think we probably have enough lighting now. And let's do a door. Okay. We're still in CVC mod, so maybe we'll just, before I do the door, I'm all over the place. I might do some stuff kind of washed up around our lighthouse here. Let's get one of these. Let's just pretend that this guy kind of washed up on the beach here. Place everywhere mod, perfect. You can get that thing where you want to put it. Let's do maybe a broken fish trap or crab trap. I don't know what this thing is. Yeah, something like that. And should we do a barrel? Let's do a barrel. Oh, actually, no. We'll do the old school barrels, the wine barrels. I think I have. Yep, got one over here. Where's this one going to go? This area might be a little bit too wild for kind of washed up things. Maybe in this corner bit over here. The splashing effect is very cool, I must say. Okay, let's maybe just lift it up a little bit. Not too I actually wish I had a damaged one. I think that would have looked better. Okay, and shall we do a boat as well? I'm just trying to think, what boats do I have? I think I might have it in my miscellaneous over here. Nautical boats. Okay, got these ones. Okay, we got this one here. Let's chuck it on the rocks over here. Rotate this guy. Try and make it look kind of washed up. I don't know, how does that look? Okay, so we got some bits and bobs around the place. Looking pretty good. Now that I look at that sort of beam up there, I might actually accentuate that, but I'll do that a little bit later. But before I forget, I do need to put in, we had a gap, little gap. Up here. If I do another plank, I think it's gonna like block too much. So I'm just gonna chuck one of these guys there. Try not to make it too obvious. I might try and hide it down there. Okay. I think we got most of the gaps covered now. Alright, so we need to focus on this area here. I'm going to choose a door that's probably a little bit more sturdy looking. Maybe a metal door. This one looks like it's seen some weather. Okay, hinge. The hinge has got to be on the outside for it to open outside. I don't actually know what way this one's going to go, but we'll just do that anyway. Okay, and do you want to do a ladder straight down? Maybe we will. Let me just see what I have in terms of stairs and things. I kind of like this one here. Let me see. I guess that could work, but I might add some posts just to make it look like it's got a bit of support there, and that gives us a kind of a good level as well for our bridge, our jetty. Okay, I'm just going to use no, I'm going to custom make it. This, I mean, this is, you know, obviously a vanilla piece. It looks cool, but I just want to push that kind of nautical theme a little bit more. Maybe make it look a little bit more like a jetty, a wharf. So let's just do it ourselves. And I can put a little bit of an angle on these pieces. Give it a bit of shape. So you can see I'm kind of just rotating the pieces a little bit, just so we don't have too much repetition. And I am purposely not doing it straight on. You can see we got a nice kind of curvy. I think that just makes it look a little bit more interesting. Okay, so now we're going to support it with these pieces here. And I do have these bits here, so I just sort of, I think adding these kind of pieces make it look a little bit more like a wharf. And I'm just kind of just looking for the kind of natural bends so I can kind of put these pieces in there. Also eyeing up exactly how far away I'm doing the other ones. give it a spin so it doesn't look too repeated. How's the spacing? Looks okay to me. Maybe another one here. Oh, maybe a little bit too far away from that one. Okay, how we're looking. This one a little bit off as well. Yeah, sometimes I'll purposely clip them just to know for sure that they are somewhat in the right position. Like that. And maybe one more. There. Okay, so that's all good, but we're not done because I need my pedantic nature. I need to make sure that they are supported underneath. Now I'm just putting them on top because I'm going to resize it. I'm going to place them properly afterwards as well. This should hopefully make sense in a second. And while I'm here, let's get some of these guys and chuck them under there. Let's just make sure the snapping's on. Is that going to snap for us? No. Okay, never mind. Actually, it probably makes more sense if it's here. Do we need an... Oh, I might actually just put it in the middle. That would make more sense, wouldn't it? And let's get one of these pieces. Oh, turn snapping off, we don't want that. Bring it in a little bit. Oh, getting stuck. Make sure that is somewhat centrally located. Okay, happy with that. We're going to say that works. And we're going to shrink these down. How does 80 look like? Probably a little bit too big still. Let's go with 70. Oh, that might be a little bit too far over. Two, three. And 1, 2, 3. So, just in regards to the light in the lighthouse, yeah, let me know what you think about the mechanism there. As I said, I'm not, clued up on all that stuff. I just sort of tried to make something that makes sense to me. It might not make sense to some of you out there, but it's fun to experiment and, try and figure these things out. It's kind of part of the story, the narrative you come up with, how these guys might have done it. And we are getting close to the end here. I probably won't do much more, but I will just show you the mod that gives you the effects, the water effects, and I'm going to try and do an extra little beam to accentuate our light for the lighthouse. Okay, we got the lamps there. Do we add another lamp? I guess it doesn't matter because we got the one on the on the building itself there. So you can see there we do have a beam. Let's just make it a little bit more darker here. Okay, I think it's in this one, vanilla objects. I think it is called vanilla objects. Yeah, try and search it on Nexus and see what it comes up with. But you get a bunch of sort of, you know, vines and trees and things. And we got effects. So you can see we got the water splash effects. We got our fog. Lots of good stuff there. Should we even add some fog? Maybe I'll go for a subtle one. We got this one here. So it's very hard to place because you can't quite see where it is. So what I do is, again, using the clipping, you just sort of move it around until you start to see kind of where it clips through the ground. And this one's a little bit hard to do, but I think around there will give us kind of a water level type dealio. But let's keep going over. I know that there is the projector somewhere, I think, hopefully. Got really cool mist effects here. Oh, here we go. So we have this projector light beam, and if we spin it around, here we go. So it's very difficult to place. I haven't figured out exactly how to do it well, so let's give this a try. What I might do actually is I'm going to do quite a big step change for our movement here. Okay, 50, so this is going to suddenly jump up quite high. Do that. I want to keep it in place, like I don't want to move it kind of X and Y, X and Z in the axis, but I just want to move it in the Y axis. So I'll do the same with our light, because I need to see where our beam is going to go, and if we have the light there I can't see exactly where I've placed it. So what I'm going to do is, our light is facing, oh, we're going to change so we don't get timed out. So you can see here, and currently it's behind our mechanism, but if I slowly just move it, you can see the light slowly moving, and we should see it clip through very soon. Right there. Okay, now we've got some flickering, obviously because it's a projector lamp. Light beam, you can see where I got it there, but I can live with it. It just sort of gives that extra little power to our light here, so that it just accentuates the lighthouse look. And I do wish we could have it turning, but I have no idea how I would set that up. The light is kind of off center, so maybe I'll just try and rotate this. Hopefully this does not end up bad. Okay, I think we're okay. Yep, and maybe just move it back ever so slightly. How does that look? We have a very powerful beam. Hopefully that looks good in the daylight as well. And there you go. We have our light set up, and hopefully this should. Oh, I did do one small step change. That's why it did that, but that is back in place now. And there you go. Maybe I won't do it in this video, but maybe I'll look for some kind of roof or something, or maybe a dome or something to put on top of there. Having a flat roof, I don't know. I think it will be okay. But maybe I'll just play off screen, and you might, if I do change it, you'll see it in the next video maybe. Well, everyone, oh, we have our fort. That's just because I haven't, yeah, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, please drop us a like there, and a subscription too if you're feeling extra generous. And if you have any comments or questions, you can just drop them below, and I will try and get to as many as I can. We also have a Discord. There's a Jabba Games Discord link on the main channel page. you can get over there and share your own Fallout 4 builds and just get involved with the community. Well guys, with all that said, hope you have a great day and thank you very much for watching.